What is the best computer for iOS development in 2017? My name is Forrest Knight. We'll be talking about that coming up.
Here we go.
Now, before we discuss what the best computer for iOS development is for you, let me tell you that if it runs macOS, it will do iOS development. Some slower than others, but it will get the job done. For example, I use a 2012 MacBook Pro. That is a 5-year-old computer that has 8 gigabytes of RAM, so good. It's a MacBook Pro, so good, right? But I have a hard disk drive. And if you know anything about hard drives, a disk drive is a whole lot slower than a solid state drive. A disk drive, every time you run an application, you have to find that application and run it from the disk. A solid state drive, aka flash storage, is kind of self-explanatory when you call it flash storage. It finds it like that. And if you have a laptop and a disk drive and you kind of like are a little bit rough with it while using it, maybe if you just move it around or angle it wrong way, it kind of messes it up. Solid state drive, it's okay. If it runs macOS, it'll do iOS development like stated before. But be careful when it comes to Hackintoshes, because Hackintoshes in the Apple App Store don't always work very well. So be careful with Hackintoshes. Now, in order to find the best computer for iOS development for you, you need to ask yourself and determine two things. What is my budget? Do I have all the money in the world, or do I need to stay at a certain price? And do I need it to be portable? This will determine if you want a laptop or a desktop. So let's first talk about portable on a budget. So right now, you're looking at the MacBook Air or the MacBook. The MacBook Pro is more on the higher end price-wise and whatnot. So let's just look at the MacBook Air and MacBook. In my opinion, you should go with the MacBook Air if budget is your concern, because the base model MacBook Air is $1,000. The base model of the MacBook is $1,300. I mean, even the base model of the MacBook Pro is $1,500. I'm not sure really the benefit of the MacBook over either of those. So let me just go into the MacBook Air. For $1,000, you're getting a dual-core processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 128 gigabytes of flash storage. Now you could spend $200 extra, so a total of $1,200 for a MacBook Air, and get double that storage, so 256 gigabytes, which those are basically the same exact specs as the base model of the MacBook. But the base model of the MacBook is $100 extra bucks. Now, maybe I know the MacBook has a better display and whatnot, but I mean, if you're on a budget and that $100 means a lot to you, then you don't need a better screen for an extra $100. You just really have to find what works best for you. But the base model of the MacBook Air will work just fine. Upgrade as you need. If you need more storage, then you can get an external hard drive or a flash drive. And that 128 gigabyte flash storage, you can just keep your operating system, Xcode, and your real big necessities on that, because those take up a lot of storage. And then everything that you just need to store, like pictures or videos or whatever it may be, then go ahead and get an external hard drive or a flash drive and then store everything on those, because those don't need to be on flash storage SSD. Now, if you need portability but have a bigger budget, then let's go with the MacBook Pro. Like I said before, the 13-inch with no touch bar is $1,500, but that's still kind of on the budget end. Let's look at the 15-inch, because more screen real estate is better, especially with app development. The 15-inch with touch bar MacBook Pro starts off at $2,400. With that base model 15-inch, you get 16 gigabytes of memory, you get 256 gigabytes of storage, of SSD storage, of course, and you get a quad-core processor. So basically, on the other, you get a dual-core on like the smaller computers like the MacBook Air, and on this one, you get a quad-core. And basically, that means instead of eating with 2 hands, you're eating with 4 hands. So it's just more efficient, you're able to do more things, especially with that 16 gigabytes of RAM. You're able to do a whole lot more background tasks if need be. Your simulator on your Xcode will probably run a lot faster, and it's just more efficient. And if you have the budget, why not get something that is a bit future-proofed and that'll work faster for the time being? And with app development, the faster you're able to develop, with less interruptions, the more money you can make. Or if you're not worried about money, the more apps you're able to develop. Now, before we go over to like the full-on stationary setups, let's talk about the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini is a stationary setup, but it can be portable since it's so small. It's like that big? I don't know. It's very, very small. It's probably like the size of an external hard drive. And with that, if you get a portable monitor and a portable keyboard and mouse, which, I mean, I guess all of them are kind of portable, then you can take them anywhere just like you could a laptop. Not as efficient, but it's good. And the main reason you go with a Mac Mini is if you need to spend like the least amount of money but still get Mac OS, because the lowest spec one, the lowest cost one is $500. And keep in mind, you'll be spending an extra $100 or so on keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So the specs on the base model Mac Mini, $500, dual core processor, 500 gigabyte hard drive, although it's not even a Fusion drive, it is a disk drive, so it's going to run a lot slower than an SSD or even the Fusion drive. Keep that in mind. And it comes with only 4 gigabytes of RAM, but it will get the job done maybe just a little bit slower, and maybe not even a little bit slower. The thing about RAM is you need more RAM if you're going to do a lot more background tasks, if you're just doing little things. So I mean, if you're running a simulator and Xcode and maybe something else like a browser or video, then I would recommend having at least 8 gigabytes, but if you just need to start off with 4, you can get 4 and then you can upgrade later. Remember, you can upgrade all of these things, you'll just need to be spending more money. So you can upgrade the processor, storage, or memory, you just need to spend more money down the line or initially. But with that being said, if you have $1,000 and you're just trying to save a bit of money, I would just recommend getting the MacBook Air, spending that full $1,000 on the MacBook Air, because you have the monitor, you have a keyboard, you have a trackpad, and it's better spec than the Mac Mini, and you can take it anywhere you want. So I would say the MacBook Air over the Mac Mini, even if you're using it as a stationary desk. Now let's move over to stationary. So if you have all the money in the world, you can go ahead and get a quad-core, even 6-core Mac Pro for $3,000 to $4,000, and you can get up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. You can get a whole lot of SSD storage, but you just spend more and more money beyond $4,000. So that's not for everyone. Even if you have the money and all you're doing is iOS development, you don't need that. You only need that if you're doing some crazy 8K editing, or if you're doing a whole bunch of, I don't know. I don't really know when you need that, but it's way overkill for iOS development. Best bang for your buck for a stationary setup is an iMac. They have a 21.5 inch version and a 27 inch version. Let's start off talking about the base model of the 21.5 inch iMac. Now it comes with a 1080p display, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 1.6 gigahertz dual core processor, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now that's a disk drive, remember that. You can get up to a 1 terabyte Fusion drive or a 256 gigabyte solid state drive. I would recommend getting that initially, forking out the few extra dollars. Expect at least the Fusion drive, because a disk drive is a thing of the past. You won't want that moving forward. It'll only hinder your performance in whatever you do on the computer. Now you can configure the RAM up to 16 gigabytes, but it's not user accessible, so keep that in mind. You'll also have to do that initially, or take it back to an Apple store, pay even more for them to install bigger sticks of RAM. Now if you decide that 1.6 gigahertz dual core processor isn't enough for you, you can spend $200 extra, and that'll upgrade you from that to a 2.8 gigahertz quad core, which is very helpful if you're going to do a lot of background tests, as talked about before. Now keep in mind, if you go with the 21.5 inch iMac, you can't replace the monitor. You can get another one, but you can't replace the monitor. It's a 1080p, like I said before. If you need something better, you can go with the 5K display on the 27 inch iMac. The base price for that is $1,800. Comes with a 3.2 gigahertz quad core processor. Still comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's 2 4 gigabyte sticks, and the user is able to add in more sticks if needed. It's configurable up to 32 gigabytes. So you could buy 2 more 4 gigabyte sticks and make it 16 gigabytes, or you can buy, what would that be? 4 8 gigabyte sticks and make it 32 gigabytes, which is pretty good. Nay, very good. And that comes with a little bit better, a little bit faster 1 terabyte disk drive. Like I said, I would upgrade to at least a Fusion drive, and with this you can go up to 3 terabyte Fusion drive or up to a 512 gigabyte solid state drive. So figure out what you need, figure out your budget, and that'll determine what iMac you need. And like I said before, if you're going to get a desktop and you just need it to chill on your desk, an iMac is the best bang for your buck. Now I think we covered mostly everything, so quick recap. If you need it to be portable and you're on a budget, MacBook Air, upgrade as needed. If you have more money, then go with the MacBook Pro, upgrade that as much as you can afford. If you need it to be stationary, iMac. If you have all the money in the world, you can get a Mac Pro. I wouldn't even recommend it, especially for iOS development, but I mean, I guess you could if you just want to have a Mac Pro. If you only have $500, or let me correct that, $600, then go with the Mac Mini, because you spend $500 on the Mac Mini, Spend another $100 for a keyboard, mouse, and monitor. Unless you already have those, then you're good to go on that Mac Mini. You're able to upgrade it if needed. And most importantly, it runs macOS, so you're able to develop iOS or macOS applications. I hope you find this video helpful. If you did, be sure to like it. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.